All right, what is up, everybody? I'm excited to be talking about Hearthstone again for the first time in a little while. Been doing a lot of Legends of Runeterra content lately, with Legends of Runeterra finally releasing in a little while here for open beta. I figured I'd jump back to Hearthstone, especially because we have a second round of nerfs that have already hit Hearthstone. They're already on the newest patch update. So if that's what you're looking for, we will be reviewing all of those nerfs in this video, every single card. There is also one underlying question that I'm going to try to answer in this video. And that is, and again, part of this is my opinion, is what Blizzard's doing with these multiple patch updates and all these nerfs that they're kind of, bringing a lot faster than normal, are they enough to save the state of the Hearthstone game as we now see it? Definitely consider subscribing if you're into card games, because you are in the right place. So without further ado, let's try to answer this question and let's get into all the reviews of the nerfs. So real quick, we're going to try to get through these pretty quick here so I can get into answering that wonderful question. And the first one's going to be Fiendish Rites. So this actually used to cost 3 mana. Now it costs 4. And honestly, I'm not sure they really needed to nerf Fiendish Rites. I think they could have gone a different route with Warlock. If you do look at some of the top decks right now, since this patch has gone live, Warlock isn't really anywhere to be seen. So I'm kind of concerned that doing this may have not nerfed them into oblivion. They're by no means terrible, but they're definitely not as competitive of a deck with Galakrond as they once were. I don't really think this needed to be nerfed. That's just me. Maybe Blizzard is seeing something that I'm missing here or that other people are missing. But especially with everything else that was nerfed, I think this wasn't needed. Next up, we have Scion of Ruin. And Scion of Ruin, we all know this needed to be nerfed. And honestly, I give Blizzard credit. They nailed this one. This is perfect. This used to be 3 cost. It is now 4. Honestly, this was the perfect change. It is an epic rare. It's meant to be a good card. At 4 cost, this is still an insanely good card. You're still getting, what is that, 9/6 worth of stats with all rush. So it's still very good with the condition that, you've invoked twice. I think this is still going to be great in Control Warrior, and it actually makes Control Warrior more competitive against all of the other top decks, such as Highlander Rogue, Galakrond Rogue, all that good stuff. But personally, I think they nailed this one. We are now counting down the days until Legends of Runeterra comes out. I promise you there will be a lot of Legends of Runeterra content on this channel, so you do not want to miss what's going to be coming up. So hit that subscribe button, smash the like button on this video if you like what you're seeing thus far, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around. Ankar is next, and I love it. First off, I love this card because I love the idea behind Pirate Warrior. I love face decks. I know some people, they get trolled on with face decks. They hate face decks. They hate losing to face decks. It seems cheesy. I get it, but everybody loves some quick wins, especially when you're trying a ladder. I don't think they did well with this nerf, however. So this did used to be a 3 durability weapon, and they reduced it to 2. That's it. That is a almost negligible nerf. It does almost nothing. You're still going to get value out of it. You're still getting essentially 2 cards for 1. You're going to get 2 pirate draws off of this. And the biggest thing and the biggest reason why I don't think this nerf really does anything, tempo-wise, it still can come out on turn 3. So that's really what they would have needed to change with something like Ankar to have it affect the pirate archetype, is affecting the tempo, because that's all pirate is tempo in the very beginning of the game. If they lose tempo, they lose power. So with that said, reducing the durability doesn't really do anything. They have plenty of other ways to not only increase the durability with things like Captain Greenskin and Upgrade, but to just get additional, card advantage anyways. So I don't think that really matters. I don't think it's going to affect the deck, and I still think Pirate Face Warrior is going to be ridiculously tilting. And next up is Dragon's Pack. So they changed this from +3/+3 to +2/+2. I do think this is an okay nerf. So you're basically getting now what is 4/5, so that's going to be 8/10 worth of stats for 5 mana. So that is a huge, that's still a lot of stats for only 5 mana. I do think this makes sense. I do, however, think they should have done this with the first round of nerfs. They were trying to affect Galakron Shaman and to try to reduce the power of that. They already reduced the power of it a lot before. Clearly they didn't think they did that good of a job at truly reducing the power of the deck, so they had to do it across 2 nerfs. I'm gonna give the finger shake to Blizzard a little bit here, as they should have got it right the first time, but hey, it is what it is. I guess, and that's what we're gonna be talking about in a little bit. I guess that's what you get with more frequent nerfs. Invocation of Frost is also going to be nerfed. I do also agree with this card. But again, this should have been done in the first place with the first round of Shaman nerfs. And I do still think this is a good card. Spending, it used to be 1 mana. So spending 1 mana to freeze an enemy, period, that was, pretty sure that was a card, back in the day. Wait, nope, I take that back. It was 0 cost for freeze an enemy. So this used to be a card that was just there to be run as a spell. Now we have a spell that not only freezes an enemy, but also invokes Galakron, which summons a 2/2 with Rush. So at 1 mana, obviously you can see how that was ridiculously busted. It was basically, you're spending 1 mana. If you're comparing it to that 0 cost freeze an enemy, they probably thought, hey, having 1 mana, for a 2/2 Rush token, with, needing to meet the requirement of invoking Galakron seems balanced. Turned out, not so much. Not when you have a low-cost spell. They severely underestimated the power of having a spell cost next to nothing. So now this costs 2. And honestly, at 2, it's still really good. It gives you tempo, freezing an enemy, and you're still going to get the 2/2 token with Rush, which, honestly, that's what you're spending the 2 mana on. 2/2 token with Rush, but you also upgrade the Galakron, right? You're getting 1 step closer to your win condition, so it overall helps out the strategy of your deck, so it's still a very good card, still playable in Galakron Shaman. Next up, we have Necrium Apothecary. Everybody knew this was coming. It took them long enough, honestly. This was, being able to coin this out on turn 3 was terrible. This used to cost 4 mana. Felt really bad to lose to this, and then having it grab, a super large Death Rattle minion, like a Mechanical Whelp. Now you have on, turn 4, turn 5, a 7/7 token on the field to deal with. Not cool, bro. So this was a long time coming. Even coining this out on turn 4 still feels bad. Honestly, getting a 7/7 on turn 5 or 6 is still pretty good. So still a good card. Still going to see a ton of play. I think this was another nerf that Blizzard nailed. And finally, the card that I absolutely freaking hate right now, all right, really bad, is Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. And so they made a very, I wouldn't even call it a nerf. I'd call it a tweak to the card. She can now not get another one of herself as one of the dragons that costs 0 when she's summoned. This card is still broken. I played against this 3 days ago after the patches come out, and it's still busted. It's still such a ridiculous card because 9 times out of 10, dragons are large anyways. There's very few low-cost dragons in this game. You're bound to hit at least 1 large dragon. So you're bound to hit something like an Ysera for 0 cost. That's huge tempo. So I guess, you should get a big reward for playing no duplicates. Because of this, it's making Highlander decks disgusting. Highlander decks are already decent. I don't know. I just really wish they made a different card in this set as a neutral legendary that was a activator for, having no duplicates in your deck. I just feel like this is I don't know. I just don't like it. I think it's broken. I think it shouldn't have been put in the game. That's just my personal opinion. But now we're stuck with it. Right, so now we're going to try to answer this question here. So you just saw some of the most recent nerfs in the most recent patch update. Honestly, so let's start with this. The current state of Hearthstone, right? And I had stopped playing. I used to play Hearthstone all the time. I've been playing Hearthstone since beta. And I loved it after the first set, the second set, probably up until maybe the 5th or 6th set. And then I started to lose interest. And what I noticed is that around that time, it didn't lose support. Blizzard's always been supporting this game since the beginning, but it just seemed like Blizzard even lost a little bit of interest. Now, that's just my perspective. I don't know who else might agree with me, but if you look at their history over the last couple of years, their patch updates and their changes to the game have been few and far between. Generally speaking, in the community as well, Hearthstone has definitely been losing interest on a a bigger scale, right? And there's a lot of other card games obviously competing now for people's attention. When Hearthstone first came out, one of the big reasons I got into it was it blew my mind that you could have an entire card game collection at your fingertips on a computer or on your phone. That was amazing. That was a long time ago. Now you have basically, you have a lot of other card games that are either new or old card games like Magic the Gathering Arena that are now being put on those platforms. So now they have competition. And honestly, I don't think they're competing very well with everybody else. Especially when you have something like Legends of Runeterra coming out, being supported by a company like Riot, who has a very long history of releasing plentiful amounts of patch updates and lots of support for games. So I guess the question is, like I said in the beginning, is what Blizzard is doing now, because they even supposedly mentioned something that their recent flurry of balance updates is not because of any overpowered cards just right this second, but because internally they're taking a different approach to patch updates. So I'm going to take them at their word. I'm going to take their words at face value and believe what they're saying. So if that is the case, is what they're saying, is if they stay true to that and release a lot of patch updates and constant nerfs and constant tweaks and changes to make sure that this game stays balanced and fun, is that enough to pick up the pieces and make Hearthstone as competitive and as interesting as it once was? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say yes, mainly because I hope that that is true. And if it is true, that means it's going to continue to compete with something like Magic the Gathering, and it's also going to continue to compete with newcomers like Legends of Runeterra. And if all three of those games do well and start managing their games properly, and Legend of Runeterra's case, start managing it properly from the beginning, then it's good overall for the competitive gaming community. So I very much hope that Blizzard starts taking Hearthstone more seriously. They start putting a little bit more thought into how overpowered a card may be before they release it, instead of like, oh, if we release that, we can always just nerf it at some point. Like, who cares? I think they can do it. I think they can, raise the interest level again. There's so much they can still do with this game, like, for instance, adding alternate champions, not just for like pictures and art, but okay, now let's have a hunter champion that pay 2 to summon 2 1/1 tokens. Whatever the hero power may be, we can have those changed across multiple champions. They've always integrated other hero powers with different sort of side games and stuff like that. So there's no reason they can't drum up interest again in Hearthstone. My one question and disappointment right now is, why are they waiting until now to do this? Why, after the 6th set, when I started losing interest, as I'm sure other people lost interest at various intervals, maybe before that, maybe after that, why after the first 2, 3, 4 sets did they not already to start? Why didn't they release like a schedule of patch updates? Why didn't they say to themselves, okay, every month we're going to take a look at the game and we're going to make card tweaks and card changes? Card games inherently have power creep. They knew that when they made this game. Why didn't they prepare for that when they first released the game and continue to release patch updates that would prevent that from happening for the longevity and lifetime of the game? I don't know. Either way, I think they're realizing their mistake now. I hope they're realizing their mistake now. And I truly 100% believe that if they do it right, they can get this game back on track and bring it to the glory that it once was. So I do love Hearthstone. I really do hope that it continues on a good path and it picks up my interest level a little bit, because right now my interest level is in other card games more than Hearthstone. So I do hope they release something that is super cool for the game and really drums up interest again. And let me be clear, I don't mean other game modes like Battlegrounds. I mean for the card game itself. Battlegrounds is awesome, but I mean the card game itself. So alright, so that is it for this video, and I truly want to know what you guys have to say and what you think in the comments below about just Hearthstone right now, the state of the game, kind of other card games that it's competing with right now. I plan on doing a review of a lot of different card games in the future. I have played damn near every card game, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to have a good card game, what it takes to support a good card game, and keep it flourishing in the years to come. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting some of those videos made, but I'd love to hear some of the card games you guys actually want me to do first. I'm assuming it's some of the bigger ones, but hey, you never know. And if it's one I haven't played, I gotta play it before I can officially review it. So put any card games in the comments below that you're gonna want a video done on. I will be happy to review it. And until next time, as always, everybody stay positive. Peace out.